from Wingate University and WUTV. This is Wingate Today.
I plan to retire in May 2015 at the conclusion of the 2014-2015 academic year.
And with that, North Carolina's longest-serving university president makes it official. Hello and welcome to Wingate Today. I'm Jeff Atkinson. Wingate University President Jerry McGee announced his retirement in April. McGee is the longest-tenured president in the state. By the time he officially steps down, a year from now, he will have served for 23 years. And a 90-second video announcement emailed to more than 17,000 people. McGee thanked all who supported him during his more than 2 decades as president.
Our institution has been blessed by the dedicated skills of an exceptional faculty, the tireless efforts of a highly qualified staff, the vision of a bold, engaged Board of Trustees, and the generosity of many individuals and organizations who have offered their financial support and encouragement.
McGee is the school's 13th president. News of his retirement made headlines across the state. The social media world went wild with praise. This one on Facebook said, "What you have brought to Wingate is amazing and unforgettable. For someone with a passion for sports, it's always great to go out on top, and there's no doubt Wingate and you are on top." McGee's announcement, posted on YouTube, had more than 3,000 hits. Through his leadership, Wingate has secured almost $200 million in gifts and grants, achieved university status, became a doctoral granting institution, constructed 26 new buildings, and nearly tripled enrollment. The search for a successor has begun. Board of Trustees Chairman Joe Patterson followed up McGee's video announcement a day later, saying a presidential search committee will be appointed and a nationwide search will take place. The 9-member search committee will consist of 6 trustees, along with a representative from the faculty, staff, and student body.
It is with excitement and anticipation that we embark upon the task of finding the right leader for this university and the next generation of students.
The committee will be headed up by Tom Williams, immediate past chairman of the trustees, a native son of Union County, and a 1961 graduate of Wingate. The university hopes to have a new president named before McGee retires in May 2015. Turning to other news now, at their April meeting, the trustees signed off on the campus master plan and approved elements in Phase 1. This is video of what campus might eventually look like, produced by the consultants Credo Higher Ed. The first phase calls for converting the Dixon Palmer Student Center into academic space, building classrooms, constructing an addition to Cannon Residence Hall, building new graduate student housing, and constructing a new health, recreation, and wellness center. Meanwhile, the university's campus in Hendersonville is preparing to double in size. In early April, the school signed a joint agreement with Henderson County, the city of Hendersonville, Blue Ridge Community College, and Pardee Hospital to become one of the lead tenants in a new health education facility to be built in downtown Hendersonville. Wingate will lease up to 30,000 square feet of space, giving the current programs, pharmacy, PA studies, and MBA, room to expand. Wingate may add additional healthcare programs. The nearly $17 million facility is expected to be finished in December 2015. The other big story this month, Wingate University now owns a newspaper. The Home News, a weekly newspaper in Wingate and Marshville, established in 1892, was given to the university by publisher John Edmondson. Edmondson donated the paper upon announcing his retirement after 17 years. He and President McGee finalized the deal in mid-April. The university's Marketing and Communications Office will oversee publishing and plans to utilize the Home News to keep communities informed about what's going on at Wingate. News of saving the paper made headlines around the region. Wingate students will be involved in writing and producing the paper. The Home News is put out on Thursdays. If you'd like to subscribe, call this number, 704-624-5068, or contact Wingate's Marketing and Communications Office. Wingate lost a dear friend in April. Clark Goodwin, the longest-serving trustee in school history, died after a heart operation. Hundreds turned out at his funeral at First Presbyterian Church in Monroe. And as Brian Stevenson tells us, Goodwin had quite an impact on his university and his community.
When Clark Goodwin passed away, Wingate University and the community lost a man who was a leader in business and a servant to those in need. To Dr. Jerry McGee, he was also a dear friend.
He meant a lot to me personally because he chaired the search committee that hired me.
Clark Goodwin devoted over 40 years to Wingate as a trustee at the university where he got his start. In 2012, Wingate said thank you for his leadership by awarding him a Doctor of Humane Letters degree.
He encouraged our vision. You know, when we started talking about pharmacy, we started talking about university status and given doctoral degrees, some of the people, even those closest to us, kind of raised their eyebrow and expressed a little doubt. He never did.
He was well known in the business community, spending over 40 years as a banker. He started the Bank of Union, which was later sold. He also served on the Monroe Economic Development Commission. Monroe Mayor Bobby Kilgore has known Clark since he was a teenager and credits Goodwin with helping bring a lot of business to Monroe.
When you say Clark Goodwin, everybody knows who you're talking about, whether it's in Monroe, Union County, or this state. Clark Goodwin was a man of action and a great man for this state and this county.
He was a founding member of the Jesse Helms Center Foundation. The original building and current Wingate Town Hall is named the Dixon Goodwin House in his honor. He was a founder of Turning Point, the local battered women's shelter. And in 2013, he was named Monroe Chamber of Commerce Man of the Year. Leader, philanthropist, servant, and friend. Words that Clark Goodwin will be remembered by.
Those shoes would be hard to fill, and they probably would just be put up on the shelf.
He said, you got to dream big dreams, and he was always right there to encourage that.
Jeff, as you can tell, Clark Goodwin had a deep impact on everyone he met and the community that he served. For Wingate Today, I'm Brian Stevenson. Back to you.
Clark Goodwin was 79. Dozens turned out to toast 5 faculty members who will be retiring at the end of the school year. Bob Billinger in the middle, Lex Youngman on the right, Bob Doak, and Carolyn Nave, who was serenaded by some of her friends. We'll miss your pleasant smile. Ann Moncayo was not able to make the reception. This is the biggest class of retirees in modern school history. Their years of service to Wingate totals 132, and they will be missed. Other employees were recognized for their years of service at the university's annual Service Awards banquet. Employees from 5 to 35 years, and everything in between, were singled out. The prestigious Order of the Seal was given to Greg Bell, math professor and chair of the department, and Dawn Davis, administrative assistant in the Department of Music. Both have 30 years of service. He was a giant among Wingate's presidents and left a mark on the school that lives today. And on April 10th, more than 100 people attended a dedication for a bust sculpture to remember Dr. Thomas Corts, Wingate's 11th president, who served 9 years from the mid-70s to the early 80s. Corts' wife, Marla, remembered fondly a billboard her husband had put up along Highway 74.
I think it read something like, "Visit Wingate College, where the best is yet to be." Obviously, the best was yet to be, and has occurred with breathtaking speed.
The sculptured bust is located in the Camden Promenade, just outside the Dixon Palmer Student Center. Corts led in the transition to a 4-year college and established the hallmark Winter National Study Abroad program. The cost is included in students' tuition. It's one of the highlights of the student experience here. One last hurrah before finals begin. A week-long schedule of events called SpringGate, and Ben Richardson has the lowdown.
SpringGate is not your average college event. In fact, it's not an event at all. It's a week chock full of concerts, food, inflatables, and more. To kick the week off right, members of the Kappa Alpha fraternity held a car bash to help raise funds for muscular dystrophy. Taylor Collins thought it could also alleviate some stress.
A lot of people will have a lot of stress as we approach exam time, and it's just a fundraiser we can have where people can come out, take some steam out, and get a few hits on a car.
To add to the stress relief was free Brewster's ice cream. As you can see, there's no shortage of students where there's free food. Then it was time to get wet. For the second time this school year, students participated in SGA's Bulldog Battleship. Senior Blake Coach says it's really a pretty simple concept.
4 students in a boat, all riled up. I said, so you get them in life jackets, whatever, put them in here, put them in there, and essentially you say go at it and try and sink each other's canoes.
Nearly 400 students came out to support the event, with nearly 80 students participating.
We started in the fall. We had 8 teams to sign up, and then there was so much hype around it in the fall, like afterwards, people were like, let's do it again, and we actually had 21 teams sign up in the spring.
From water to land, Wingate students took off on the blue and gold 5K color run. This is the second consecutive year the event has taken place, and the participants increased from nearly 100 last year to more than 150 this year. Chelsea Poplin of the Bulldog Activity Resource Committee says students needed the run.
You're studying for exams, but you have tests and stuff to do to kind of give them a break in the day to come out and get some exercise, but have fun too.
Immediately following the color run was Holy Fest. This was a first for Wingate University. Musician Trevor Hall put on an incredible show and had students throw colored chalk into the air, signifying unity among us all. It was nothing short of pure fun. To close out the week, inflatables were parked all along the promenade. As being an avid surfer, this is something I could not pass up. As time went on, I did adjust and return to my natural surfing abilities. Students had a blast enjoying the spring air, and already they're looking forward to next year.
Wingate's been singled out for promoting health and wellness. Susan Cameron with the Greater Charlotte American Heart Association was on hand to present the Heart Association's Gold Fit-Friendly Worksite Award. First ever for Wingate and quite an accomplishment. To receive the award, a school or business must promote a wellness culture and implement a host of physical activities to encourage fitness and healthy eating. The Wingate Natatorium was the site of a special event in April, and impact for hundreds could well be long-lasting. With us now is the voice of Bulldog Sports, Ryan Brown. Ryan?
Jeff, after an award-winning Special Olympics day in the fall for Wingate football, the Olympians came back to campus and joined another sport for a day of fun and learning. After an award-winning Special Olympics day in the fall with Wingate football, the Olympians ventured back to campus for an indoor sport, a day of learning in the pool with Wingate swimming for the 11th consecutive spring.
It's something that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Wingate senior swimmer Amanda Gilbert isn't just any part of the special day. She runs the show, but is very grateful for the assistance from her teammates.
Being able to be in charge of Special Olympics swimming for the past 3 years is something that I'm very grateful for. And I really want to thank all of the Wingate athletes for all of their hard work and heart that they put into this.
Like the Special Olympics Day at football, the visiting athletes get to go through practice and normal events, just like their favorite Bulldog athletes, and of course plenty of fun too.
Our last event was a unified relay where we had 6 different relays of Special Olympics athletes and Wingate athletes combined. Just seeing the smiles on the Wingate athletes' faces and the Special Olympics athletes' faces is something that I'll never forget.
Though Gilbert has to say goodbye to Wingate in this special day, she's proud of the work put in to make it such a successful event that's lasted for so long.
It was great to be a part of such an amazing tradition at Wingate here, knowing that they've done this for 11 years now, and I really look forward to what the underclassmen can do with it in the future.
Jeff, Amanda Gilbert is a great example of the importance of getting involved in the community. On top of running Special Olympics, she was the 2014 Wingate Girls and Women in Sport Award winner, an All-American, and an excellent student. Quite a bright future for the senior.
Fantastic. Ryan Brown, thank you very much. For the 8th year in a row, Wingate has won the celebrated South Atlantic Conference Echols Athletic Excellence Award. This year, winning by a record 44 points, the highest margin of victory ever. Athletic Director Steve Poston and President McGee seen here receiving the honor. The 8th consecutive victory for the school ties a record set by Elon University in the 1980s and 90s. The Echols Award recognizes the athletic department with the highest point total based on cumulative final standings in each of the conference's 18 sports. A programming note, it's time for the WUSPYS. Wingate's version of the ESPYs, the sports awards show on ESPN, airs this month here on WU TV. The WUSPYS recognizes outstanding team and individual performances in Bulldog athletics during the past school year. Watch for the annual end-of-the-year sports award ceremony here on Channel 22 and Channel 97-3. Jerseys, shoulder pads, helmets. A group of local high school kids got a close-up look at what it's like to be a college football player. Rising middle schoolers from Porter Ridge Athletic Association's Pop Warner team, the Ravens, got to tour the Wingate football complex on game day. It happened to be the day of the spring football game. Defensive end Nick Napolitano, a senior, was their guide.
If you love to play football, you want to play football, come out, coach will, he'll take it to heart, and you want to play, you show if you can play, and you have a spot on the team.
The youngsters went inside the locker room, checked out the weight room, and got to see where players get taped up and where they do rehab. The boys learned about how a college football program operates. The Youth League's football commissioner says they're planting seeds for the future.
If I can make a rising 6th grader or 7th grader think about, hey, I could, not only do I want to go to college now, but I would like to go to play football as well.
Later, the kids got to see where all that hard work comes together. They sat in the grandstands and enjoyed the spring football game. By the way, the offense beat the defense 35-31. Incoming freshmen will have a useful tool navigating their new home. The Office of Student Life created a 36-page orientation handbook that spells out everything a new student will need. Everything from how to get around, Wingate email, and how to get involved. The university is preparing to welcome 675 first-year students this fall. Straight ahead on Wingate Today, he beat out 95,000 other teachers to become the State Teacher of the Year. How did he do it? And imagine a program that could tap into your child's creativity, push them to be more responsible, and hone their math and engineering skills. Well, there's a program for that. We'll tell you about it right after the break.
Planning your next step in life? Come complete your education in a dynamic, caring environment at Wingate University. Enrollment and construction have skyrocketed in the past 2 decades as students pursue challenging and rewarding degrees in fields like the health sciences, business, and education. U.S. News & World Report has named Wingate University the 6th best value in the South. Visit one of our 3 great campuses, Wingate, North Carolina, Hendersonville, or Charlotte, or check us out at wingate.edu. Major in a great life at Wingate University.
For this next story, there's no limit to creativity. It's the Odyssey of the Mind, an international education program that really challenges kids to think outside the box. Kristen Johnson joins us. Wingate hosted the state competition the first weekend of April, and Kristen was there, so how was it?
Jeff, it was amazing to see these kids in action, to think they had to come up with ideas to solve various problems. Some involved building something, others interpreting literary classics, all without the help of adults. And as you're about to see, it takes creativity, teamwork, and perseverance. What started 36 years ago as one professor's challenge to get college students excited about industrial design is now a worldwide competition spanning every continent except one. That professor, Dr. Sam Nicholas, is still around.
I'm a big believer in the importance of art and music.
And he is still creating challenges.
Science and math and all that, they're all important. Between the long-term problems and the spontaneous problems, my life had turned into looking for problems.
Students find the solutions, and it's not just for college age anymore. Elementary, middle, and high schoolers all compete. Extra points for creativity and risk-taking. These students from all across North Carolina earn their way here to the state finals.
To begin with, we were all sitting around a table and we were brainstorming ideas for our decree. And there was a Mountain Dew can just sitting on the table, so one of our team members was like, what about Mountain Dew has to be made from the dew of mountains? So then we just kind of riffed off the idea and came up with all this, and we came up with Medusa and all the rest of the performance.
He's going to ace this driving test! This was a vehicle problem. They had to build a car that had 2 different propulsion systems, one that moved it forward, one that moved it backward. And they had to have 3 tasks that the car completed.
My favorite part is the building stuff. I let the girls and everyone else do the script. I like to put everything together and just see how it works.
Well, the problem was they had to have a fear of something in a location they hadn't been to.
They recognize each other's strengths, and it's amazing how a lot of times these kind of kids want to sort of take over the problem and do it all themselves. They do such a great job of letting each kid shine and sort of contribute what they need to make it all work together.
There's a passion here that plays out in front of judges, classmates, and teachers. To see this kind of excitement is every educator's dream. Enough so, some teachers become directors of the program, like Dr. Doris Barahana Burton.
What better way to teach kids than to do it in a way in which they don't even know that they're really learning. They just think they're having fun. So it's the perfect combination of things.
Which Dr. Nicholas says is refreshing to see. When the world highlights so much bad, here he says,
We got thousands of kids doing it right.
Now, there are certain guidelines students have to follow when solving problems. That includes how much you can spend on materials, just another way to encourage creativity. Winners from here go on to the World Finals in Iowa in late May. Jeff?
Kristen Johnson, thank you. We'll be featuring some of the highlights of the North Carolina Odyssey of the Mind State Finals in an upcoming show here on WUTV. Watch out for that. Wingate students showed off their acumen in the Creative and Investigative Partnerships Symposium held in the Ethel K. Smith Library. The CIPS showcases investigative research, scholarship, and creative work that undergraduate students have produced in the last year with the support of faculty mentors. For the students who attend the research symposium, it's a chance to learn and practice professional etiquette common to all disciplines. Bringing together donor and recipient, the annual Scholarship, Donor, and Legacy Society Luncheon was held in April. More than 300 attended. It's a chance for students who've received endowed scholarships to meet their donor and those who support the university through planned giving, members of the so-called Legacy Society.
It makes it very rewarding, and we like doing it and come to one of these luncheons and dinners and meet the kids we're helping. We really appreciate it.
Students are encouraged to write thank you letters to donors in January, setting the stage for this face-to-face meeting in April. Allison Cook remembers what she wrote.
I said thank you very much for your donations. I've really appreciated it. I've maximized everything, my entire time here, and this is what I've been able to do, and thank you so much. I really want to meet you and show you how much I appreciate it.
While some colleges have scaled back or even done away with scholarship donor luncheons like this one, Wingate's has actually grown over time. This was the school's biggest. Well, this doesn't happen. She has the distinction of having her first 2 novels published on the same day in 1984. Lumberton, North Carolina native Jill McCorkle was the featured guest at the 4th annual Ethel K. Smith Friends of the Library fundraiser gala. This short story writer and novelist read passages from her latest book, Life After Life, and shared about how she picked up writing. In addition to being an author of almost a dozen works, McCorkle also teaches creative writing at NC State. 2 of the highlights of the evening, a book signing and silent auction. He's North Carolina's Teacher of the Year, the first one to come from Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools in more than 40 years. James Ford, world history teacher at Garinger High School in Charlotte, and enrolled in a master's program at Wingate's School of Graduate Education at Ballantyne. We've featured him here before on Wingate Today. There were 9 nominees from across the state, and Ford, who's 33, wasn't expecting his name would be called. It's been a whirlwind since. A full-page ad in the Charlotte Observer, and speaking to groups like Wingate's Board of Trustees meeting in April. We asked him how it's been since receiving the honor.
It's just been tremendous. I've spent day after day trying to find a word. I think we talked about that to fully encapsulate the feeling, but it's been great. It's been a whirlwind, being pulled all over the place, numerous congratulations coming from various angles, and it's very rewarding, and I'm relishing the opportunity to speak on behalf of teachers and educators.
How did you find out about it? How'd they relay you the news?
Well, you know what? They actually called all of the regional winners from throughout North Carolina to a luncheon. State superintendent allowed us to come down and eat lunch at Cary, North Carolina, and then, you know, as they went through the program, they basically made the announcement, and we all found out then, and I was just floored. I was taken aback. It was awesome.
You had no idea, obviously.
Not at all, not at all. I was actually preparing to make sure that I congratulated whoever else won, so it was great. It was awesome.
A lot of people probably don't know how this process works. How is it you were selected? First you were a CMS Teacher of the Year, and then region, and then it became state.
You know, for lack of a better term, it's kind of a tournament system. You know, you get selected. Every school has a winner. Then you go to a zone level within that district. You have a winner from out of there, and then that's when you get propelled to the district level. And from there, I won the Southwest region of North Carolina Teacher of the Year. And so that is broken up into 9 regions. So there's 9 finalists, and you spend a whole day in Raleigh with various individuals from NCDPI, Department of Public Instruction, and they make a determination based upon a portfolio, based upon the interview, based upon what your resume is, who they want to be the representative of educators. So,
what will you be doing over the next year?
Some of that remains to be seen. What they have told me is that I'll be operating and serving as an ambassador for the 95,000 teachers and educators throughout the state. That I'll be able to serve on the State Board of Education for 2 years. I'll also be able to participate in the Educational Reform Institute. I get to go to various trips. I get to go to the NASA Space Camp. I get to leave the country as well. So much of it is going to be kind of touring, providing support and encouragement for educators, doing keynotes and things of that nature, but really just being an ambassador, being an advocate.
For the kids in the classroom, what have you told them? I mean, they're probably sad to see you go.
It's a bittersweet moment for them, you know, because they know I love them, and you know, I certainly feel the love right back. But they also understand that, in a way, this is kind of me expanding the very things that they've been able to feel, that I've been able to communicate to them, and expanding that sphere of influence to other students and other teachers throughout the state. So ultimately, it's doing the most good in the long run. But they know I'm gonna miss them.
You're in the Education Leadership Program at Wingate University in the Ballantyne campus. How has that program enabled you to do what you're doing? What kind of difference has it made in your life?
It's made me a much more well-rounded educator, you know, as opposed to just a teacher. There's so many other pieces and perspectives involved with the pursuit of educating children. It's taken me outside of the classroom and allowed me a more aerial viewpoint of what takes place, all the various considerations, and it's a major undertaking to go about educating kids, and this program has really given me some insight into what that whole ball of wax, for lack of a better term, looks like.
There could not be a better person selected for State Teacher of the Year. We've gotten to know you over the last year or so. Congratulations.
Thank you very kindly, sir. Appreciate that.
Appreciate it. Ford was singled out for his ability to engage his students. He says he believes he's doing what he was born to do. It started with one man 29 years ago who wanted to raise money for the American Cancer Society. Now, Relay for Life has more than 4 million people in over 20 countries. Wingate hosted its second Relay for Life in mid-April that attracted 13 teams from the university and the community. They walked around a track in the parking lot next to Laverne Banquet Hall for 12 hours and raised nearly $8,000. Relay for Life honors cancer survivors, raises awareness about what you can do to reduce your cancer risk, and helps fund the American Cancer Society to fight disease. It's called the Jorts Mile, a 1-mile run through campus started by students last year to celebrate, what else? Jorts, jean shorts, which runners are asked to wear. 50 people participated. The race, in addition to being fun, raised awareness for Moving Forward, a local after-school tutoring program. On the subject of running, this next man you're going to meet is like the mailman. No type of weather can keep him down. He's a fixture on campus. His wife is a professor here, and reporter Kim Williams was curious enough to catch up with him one day. And he's got quite a story. Kim?
Every day this man runs by my office window. It can be snowing, it can be raining, it can be hot. Well, today I caught up with him.
I started off slowly. I ran 1 mile a day, Monday through Friday, for about 5 years.
A former swimmer and diver, health issues led Bill Nave to consider jogging to improve his health. What started out slowly grew by leaps and bounds once he began running with friends.
As we kept running and building the weekends up to 10 miles, we started talking about marathons. Couldn't believe in the beginning that I could do this, run a marathon.
After running several 10K races, which is 6.2 miles, Bill began working to improve his running times and eating habits. He was running 60 to 80 miles a week and ran his first marathon just after his 50th birthday.
The first race we went to was Oak Ridge, Tennessee. It's called the Smoky Mountain Race. And this was one that didn't have that many people in it, and we were running actually on farmland way out in the country.
Later that same year, he ran the Marine Corps Marathon in Washington, D.C. He continued to run that marathon each year from 1983 to 1999, only missing 1 year due to a work trip.
Just thoroughly enjoyed Washington, D.C. running that race because the entire race, you had people encouraging you, little kids giving little bars of candy, and it was bands playing all the way around. And of course the sights around Washington, D.C.
23 marathons later, including Charlotte's Thunder Road, where he was a featured runner on their posters, he stopped running the 26.2-mile races in 2008 at the age of 77. But he didn't stop running. Although health issues have slowed him down a little, he started a weekly goal of 25 miles, which amounts to 1,300 miles a year. And he has a continual goal of learning, having just finished seminary training at Gordon Conwell in Charlotte last month. He uses his running time for spiritual thinking and guidance from God.
You need something to stir you on, you know, something to encourage you to do further or try to reach for something you don't think you can reach for.
At 81 years old, he has participated in 23 marathons, just graduated from seminary, has 2 undergraduate degrees and 2 master's degrees. He's still running and he's still learning. He's quite an inspiration. Reporting on scene, Kim Williams, Wingate Today.
Thanks, Kim. Watch a new show this month coming to WUTV, Wingate University Business Roundtable, a half-hour program that looks at the major business issues of the day with key leaders in the Charlotte region. It's taped at Wingate's Ballantyne campus in South Charlotte and hosted by Mark Bryant, director of the MBA program. Topic this month, Ballantyne, past, present, and future. Mark interviews Bob Morgan, president of the Charlotte Chamber, and Barry Fabian, senior VP of the Bissell Companies, which developed Ballantyne. A sellout crowd came to hear Grammy Award-winning composer and conductor Eric Whitacre when he was here in early April. Whitacre was the featured speaker for the Foundation of the Carolinas annual meeting in Charlotte. As part of his visit to the area, he conducted a symposium here. The evening featured the Wingate University Singers and Carolina Voices Festival Singers. Organizers say it was an exceptional event for Wingate. And that's our show for this time. As we leave you, another big musical event hosted by the music department this spring, a concert called South by South Africa. It featured visiting conductor Deleen Hugenhoed of Johannesburg and brought together black and white choir members from around the South singing music of South Africa and the American civil rights. Hugenhoed leads the WITS Choir, one of the leading choirs in South Africa. Hope you enjoy. See you next time.